And by it, I mean the very real, very cringy fan fiction I wrote back in 2011. Surprise! I've been searching for years and I really didn't think I was gonna find it, and I kind of hoped I wouldn't, but here we are in this forbidden library under the sea. Probably at this point I should be candid with you and explain myself a little bit. While I've been reading this amazing fanfiction, I thought it would be unfair of me if I didn't talk about my attempt at writing back in 2011. I had always thought it was an original idea of mine, but upon inspection of it, it's about my family. I wrote a fanfiction that's low-key about my family. Before this begins, I just want to say, please don't unsubscribe. And if you're a family member, I want you to remember that I wrote this when I was 14. So I hated all of you. Peace and love, peace and love. We just go straight in. Her eyes burnt from the tears streaming down her now bloodied and bruised face. I don't remember much about this, and I don't remember that. Her lungs burned as she gasped down gulps of air, but she kept running. She knew all too well what would happen if they were to catch her. Tears welled up in her eyes again as she saw her again. Okay. Her face twisting in agony, her cries and screams for help, the tears in her eyes, the blood. What was I going through in 2011? Her foot snagged on something on the ground and she smashed into the wet, sandy beach floor. Oh, we're on a beach. Would have been good to know before now. Knowing her fate if she was found by them. Who is them? I don't know if I got far enough to know who them is. She curled into herself and shivered and shook, knowing her fate. Why am I so emo here? Her stomach heaved and she threw up. Oh, she threw up all the contents of it. She cried hysterically as she realized her fate. Again, behind her, she heard a laugh. You're really making this too easy. This is it, she thought. I'm going to die. Isn't it really good? God, why didn't I go into creative writing? That's what I want to know. There's so much of this. Fuck. Sky had always hated going to her grandparents. She had nothing against them particularly, apart from the fact that she was pretty sure they'd given her and many others food poisoning countless times from their cooking. Burn on my grandparents. For no particular reason. It wasn't even that they were bad cooks. It was more so that their food, spelt wrong, was probably, to put it politely, as old as herself. So like 13. Not that old. Oh girl, I'm 10 years older than this. I'm none the wiser. Fuck. Just where they lived. Lived in a really small town in Donegal called Rathmullen. Rathmullen's a real place and we used to go there in the summertime, so it's the perfect backdrop for my extravaganza. Rathmullen, even the name makes her grumble. I liked going there. It makes her think of a place where summers are wasted by sitting inside watching the rain fall on the window. I would like to reiterate, I liked going here. I'm really bored. You're really boring. No matter how many times she would tell her parents, it was more fun watching two flying farts in space. So quirky. God, I was so fucking quirky. Her extended family. Yet another thing Sky dreaded about the summer. Half of them belonged in a mental home. Sorry, that would be an insult to mental homes. Fucking harsh. Why are you writing a really aggressive fan fiction about your family, Suki? Why? It autocorrects Sky a bunch of times to Skype. To be quite honest, I'd rather be in Germany with you and Mom. I don't think my parents ever went to Germany. Every summer, Sky's parents went to Germany on business. Skype had gone once and spent 3 months in a hotel room eating pizza and watching Germany's Got Talent. This never happened. Why did I want to go to Germany so bad? Sky, you and I both know what happened last time. Sky rolled her eyes and sighed, running her hand through her long red hair. Hold up. Wait a damn minute. I have a protagonist named Sky who has red hair. And I'm here making fun of someone called Sienna with red hair. Bully me. Bully me, I deserve it. She honestly didn't know how she was ginger. Oh my god, is that my only personality in this? I didn't have a personality in real life, so I needed to give myself a spicy red hair personality. Ew, don't look at me. Don't look at me. You try spending a summer with them all. You would prone be mental scarred for life. Sky gave up and ran upstairs to pack. It's gonna be a long summer, she remarked. She yanked her suitcase down the stairs and reluctantly ran back up to say her goodbyes to her sister Bella. Ah, like Bella from Twilight. Ooh. I remember being like, oh, I don't want my sister in this story because she's funnier and prettier than me. So I'll write her out of it. She's gone for the summer. Sky was green with envy when his sister had been invited to Paris with the Parkinsons. Who the fuck are the Parkinsons? I've never met a Parkinson in my life. Don't worry, I'll bring you back a croissant. See, maybe if you had friends, this would be happening, joked Bella. Sky had friends, but they were, to be polite, different. It's a damn lie. I had no friends. Sky sent a death glare at the 16-year-old. At the 16-year-old? I'm the eldest. My little sister's like only 18 now, 10 years after this came out. Have fun in Paris. And I actually would like that croissant. Her cat, Rocky, what way did I spell this? Attempted to jump on her suitcase. Sky scoffed, knowing that the cat was so fat it could barely climb into its own bed without working up a sweat. I was done roasting my sister. I had to move on to my poor dog, which I made a cat for this because I really wanted a cat at the time. Her father chose that moment to lead her grandparents into the room and give Sky a smile that said, well, look who you have to spend the summer with. The hatred for my grandparents, apparently. Wow. I spelt her name in the plural. Instead of Sky, I wrote it Skies. That's not how names work. Sky hugged her dad goodbye and got into the car. Oh my god, okay, can we get going? She sat back in the car. Her grandparents' car smelt of gone off eggs and bad breath. Probably. Sky! Last thing she heard her grandmother say before she plugged her ears with her earphones, savage bitch, was that she hoped the yellows would rise. I don't know what that means. I don't think she knows what that means. Absolutely nothing online about that. Did I think I could just make up gardening jargon and shove it in here and see if no one would notice? Because I fully thought this was I was gonna be the next JK Rowling. Fucking hate Sky. Who's worse, Sky or Sienna? This is rough, but Sienna. She looked over to her grandparents. Her grandmother was drinking what seemed to be like a coffee. What? Her grandfather was driving ever so slowly, pronely holding up a huge line of traffic behind him. Oh my, the hatred for my grandparents. What did they do to you, Sky? She sometimes joked it'd be quicker walking to Rathmullen with the way her grandfather drove. It's almost the opposite in real life. Like, grandparents went zoom zoom. She crossed over an ancient stone bridge, overlooking the ruins of former homes and businesses that were deserted during the time of the famine. The emptiness scarred her. Why is it scarring you? Did you mean to say scared? This ghost town doesn't exist. I just made this up. Maybe this was gonna come back. Sky turned her attention towards the sea. She smiled at the sea. Hi, sea. Hi, Sky. The only thing about the beach is that it's always cold. She has never been warm on a piece of beach they owned. Oh, wait, you own the beach? We've never owned a beach. Pulled up at the high white gates of her grandparents' house. Sky braced herself for the welcoming her cousins would give her. My cousins could give a shit about me. Imagine, like, you're just feeling like nice, like your parents were like, go be nice to your cousin. So you go over and you're like, hi, and she's like, ugh. These guys. You know, I was the annoying cousin. I was the annoying cousin. If you went into a room with my cousins and you said, put your hand up if you've ever been scared of Suki Steele, both hands would be up in the air. And waving like they just don't care. You will be staying in the barn with Aurora, Olivia, and me and your grandfather will be in the house with Steph, Joseph, Kathy, and Lily. Who are these people? Skye took a deep breath and opened the door and lifted her suitcase through the threshold. She was met immediately by the smell of pancakes and the sound of shouting down the hall. I think my cousins made pancakes once and it really stuck with me. Hello, she shouted, instantly regretting it as she heard the sound of feet running downstairs to greet her. Lucy jumped on Skye and wound her so tightly in a hug, she thought she cracked a rib. Did you bring that fat cat of yours? Lucy asked. No, my dad would miss it too much. What, the cat got to go to Germany, but not Skye? Oh, cause I heard cats have 32 muscles in their ears and I wanted to check, Lucy huffed. That was just a fact I knew. I missed you too, but I'm quite busy at the moment. Certain events have unfolded and now it seems I have to go and find a cat. Lucy replied as she walked out of the house and into the night. I don't have a cousin like this. I don't know where this came from. Hauled her suitcase up the stairs and into the small bedroom. She fumbled for a light switch and caught her leg on a side of the couch and went screaming to the floor. So quirky, so clumsy. The lights turned on and Skye turned around to see Olivia standing over her with a smug grin in her face. Olivia was 16 and was very tall. And I hated everyone tall because I was so short. She was about 6 foot 2 inches. Oh, did baby Skye get left behind because she has no friends? Hop, 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 hop. You know, Olivia, sarcasm is the lowest form of wit. Oh, if you wondered what I was like as a teenager, this is it, and you wouldn't have liked me because I didn't like me. Nice joke, Goose. Olivia laughed as she walked into the next room. Skye could still hear her laughing through the wall. Wasn't that funny a joke, Olivia? Calm down. It's gonna be a long summer, she thought to herself. Went over to the small wardrobe and opened her suitcase and began to unpack I don't fucking care. Just as she was loading the last piece of clothing, the lights went off and she heard a scream. Ooh, it's gonna get juicy Lucy. This is all written in italics, so I'm guessing this is all meant to be like fancy, spicy words. Look, honey, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Oh, so this POV is from one of my cousins. What's the easy way? She asked, showing no fear. No fear. You know, my friends get quite hungry this time of year and I'd love to get them fed. He throated, dropping the smile. If you or any of your friends do so much as to touch any of them, you won't have any friends left to fed? Oh, so you do know them. Oh, you fell right into his trap, he said while clicking his fingers, forcing the lights of the house as a scream was heard. That makes sense. She made a dash for the house, kicking of the wall, but he was faster and quickly shot her to the ground. You know, you should lie. Some people don't appreciate liars. That makes no sense. No, eventually you'll have to tell them. He spat. What is happening? Vi had enough of you, she growled as she lifted him in the air with an unseen force. Superpowers are coming in now. Up to his feet and walked away. She sighed with relief as she watched him go, making sure he was out of sight before summoning a yellow field around the house. She sighed as she thought, he's right.
I can't keep doing this on my own.
Bad. She was a cousin I was obsessed with when I was younger. I mean, yeah, you're cool, but did your younger weird cousin ever write an entire fanfiction about you? Skye fumbled out of her room, feeling for the door. Wait. Calm down, the voice said in an American accent. Who did I walk into? She laughed with relief. Skye, you walked into Skye. Bet he wished he didn't now. Began laughing with her and offered her his hand. All these cousins seem really nice. Are you okay? Just a... What way did I spell this? Just a konkusan. Nothing serious. Might die though, he joked. What about Lucy? I'm coming up, hang on, she shouted as she heard a hiss. Lucy, what do you have down there with you? It's gonna be a cat. She found a cat. I wanted to check the muscles in his ears, so I found a cat. I really wanted a cat this summer. Did Olivia scream? Skye asked, surprised. One thing Skye knew about Olivia is that she doesn't scare easily, and she likes to think she can beat up a truck driver. There was a loud bang, then footsteps coming up the stairs. Everyone went deathly quiet as the steps halted. Nobody make a sound. Call the police! The lights flickered back on and they all screamed, then were reduced to laughter when they saw an extremely fat white cat. I call him Bob, Lucy said. as she hurried towards the cat. They heard the door open and close, and Sky looked just in time to see Aurora run to her room. Aurora, she 15. Sky envied her looks, but today she noticed a nasty purple bruise sitting on her eye. Sky walked back into the hall and towards her bedroom, riveting. She flopped onto her bed and shut her eyes, hoping to wake up somewhere else. Oh, burn. At least it was a mild night, she thought, because I'm 87. It wasn't long before the sounds of the sea drifted her off into a sleep.
Sky, honey. Wake up. Do not fear me.
Sky pecked one eye open and gasped in shock as she opened the other. She saw a glow of billions of lights, all different colors. Well, you would not believe your eyes. Of 10 million fireflies. Why are you here? Why am I here? I can't say this.
We have known each other over many lifetimes.
I'm sorry I don't recognize you. I just can't see you. What?
Do not be ashamed, Skylark.
Spell this girl's name wrong so many times. Sky's face etched in confusion.
Everything the small dots you can see are every life force in the dimension. Sky, I need you to stop it.
Please, you have to understand, I can't fix it. I don't even know where to start to fix it.
Skylark, I never said you'd have to do it alone.
Just two cousins. The darkness encased her and blocked her air. You have to breathe sometime. She tried to gasp for air and she felt it sliding down her throat, choking her. Sky, I know, you can hear me. I want to help you, but I can't. You have to follow my voice. Sky fought harder, the waves becoming more violent and solid, as if trying to concrete the pain was getting worse by the second, and her lack of oxygen made it more 10 times harder. When the lack of oxygen makes it more 10 times harder. So dramatic. So dramatic, it makes no sense. Sky gasped as she sat up in bed and turned to see Aurora sitting beside her on the bed, holding her hand. My room's got a smashed window. Turns out Lucy's cat doesn't like being inside much. Sky calmed her breathing and looked at her cousin confused, but too tired to argue, and simply nodded and allowed Aurora into the bed. And thus it is over, because I gave up. And you know what? Thank God I did. God, that was really, really, truly bad. Time to put this bad boy away, back into the stacks where it can't hurt anybody. So yeah, I just found my old laptop.
Oh, it's Christmas.
Woo! Comment below the fanfictions that you wrote about your family. And don't say that you didn't, because you definitely did. But if you made it to this point in the video, that means that we are acquaintances. You may as well like this video to become friends, and you may as well subscribe to become best friends. My comment of the week goes to Rat Bastard 05. I'm not sure what's scarier, the fact that you might have been born in 05. My God, you're 9 years younger than me. Or the fact that your name is Rat Bastard. Who would win in a fight? A furry fanfiction about a quirky girl and a buff Lego she, or a small Irish girl with a camera and too much free time? I like to think that in the battle of me versus Sienna, I will eventually win. But to be fair, I'm still reading her fanfiction, so who really is winning here? Okay, well, that's me. I have to find a way out of this library. Thank you very much for 2,000 subscribers, and oh no, the library's filling with water.